While July 2023 could be one of the wettest on record for the British Isles, it certainly will end, as it has been the case throughout the month, on a wetter than average note. Thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. This is the CFSV2 precipitation anomalies for the next 7 days. So between the 25th and the 1st of August, it looks as if pretty much all of the British Isles will be wetter than average. And that may wind up making July 2023 within the top 5, if not the top 2 wettest Julys in recorded history. And it will also wind up slightly below average as well, which is quite interesting, of course. And below average temperatures for the final week of the month also. The jet stream is starting to end its meridional wavy situation that we've got going at the moment here. You can see during the course of Sunday with that area of low pressure moving through the UK and Ireland, bringing the flood and rainfall to parts of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland during the course of the weekend. We are going to start to see the jet flatten out, strengthen, and that will take us out of the month of July and into the month of August here. So entering the final month of meteorological summer, would you believe? And you can see here off the GFS, there's that flattening out and strengthening of the jet stream winds across the North Atlantic here. It is a little bit wavy, so we may have that arm of jet stream winds kind of lift a little bit to the north. It may also flick a little bit to the south of the UK as well, and depending on the position, it means that we may be in something slightly warmer than what we've seen so far. If I'm right in saying, since the 10th of July, there is only one day that has surpassed 25 Celsius somewhere in the UK, and I believe there's 13 straight days where Dublin Airport, according to Shrine Brewing, has not achieved a temperature over 20 Celsius. And you have to go back to, you guessed it, 2015 for the last time that has occurred between the months of July and into August for the Dublin area of Ireland. So quite interesting stuff coming out. Some interesting statistics now starting to show up with regards to the situation across the UK and Ireland here. Now, according to this tweet here by Nahel, it's now official. Yesterday's sea surface temperature average for the Mediterranean has reached 28.4 Celsius, the highest in recorded history. This beats the previous record set at 28.25 set during the European heatwave of August 2003. So no surprise that water temperatures are close to 32 Celsius surrounding Italy. We also have seen a temperature, I believe, of 48.2 Celsius, which of course is right up there with the record for Europe. I believe it is the record for July for the European continent, but of course it falls slightly short of the record set back in August 2021 of 48.8 Celsius in Sicily. So just a slight side thought actually with regards to the heat across the Mediterranean basin. It really has made me think, with a lot of this kind of chill across Northern Europe, including the UK and Ireland, Scandinavia, and the focus of the heat being in the Mediterranean basin, it makes me wonder slightly whether this heat wave would have been as intense if it wasn't for the fact that you've got a cold trough to the northern half of Europe. Essentially, in my visual in my head, it's kind of like this heat dome is kind of trapped over the Mediterranean and over northern Africa, and as you kind of trap that hot, intense air mass, would we have seen the temperatures quite as warm at 47, 48 Celsius, 49 in Tunisia, if the heat wave was more spread out across Europe, generally speaking? So say, for example, further north, a more continental wide heat wave. It's just a thought that I had actually over the course of today, and I thought I would share that with you, that this heat dome is very much trapped underneath that cold trough extending across the UK, Ireland, and Scandinavia. So just a thought. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of that idea about this heat dome being kind of confined to the Mediterranean and possibly bringing more intense heat at the surface compared to what we would have seen, say, back in August 2003 or, back in 2018 and even last year with some of the heat that we've seen across Europe? Would it have been as intense if it wasn't confined purely to the Mediterranean basin this time around here? Because, of course, it is a remarkable contrast. We did see some all time record heat in parts of Serbia back in 2007 when we had pretty much a July washout in 2007 across the UK and Ireland. We had below average temperatures, of course, then, and we had record breaking heat back across central areas of Europe here. So, this pattern is not overly unusual, but of course, the heat arguably could be considered more extreme than what we've seen before. Now, my thoughts with regards to climate and the fact that I strongly believe that, the Mediterranean basin at one point in the past has seen a temperature of 28.4 across the entire Mediterranean basin. But of course, it's all about recorded history, and we need to kind of keep that in mind here. So, interesting stuff there with regards to the Mediterranean basin average sea surface temperature profile. And there we go. So, Dublin Airport, according to Shrine, hasn't achieved 20 Celsius in 13 straight days. Haven't seen such a prolonged period in high summer, lacking 20 Celsius since July and August 2015. Well, of course, seeing this is a very, very tragic scene indeed. Actually, this is an aircraft fighting the wildfires in Greece, and just to make a devastating situation even worse, this aircraft crashed, as you can see here. So very, very, very sad situation indeed. Coming out of Greece in the last 24 hours or so, of course. So I have, of course, seen Palermo, which has some of the longest standing records on the planet, temperature of 47.0 Celsius. We did have a location in Sardinia that reached 48.2 Celsius. So extreme conditions across the Mediterranean basin. This is an interesting one here, by the way. The temperature Concordia base at Antarctica. Now remember how low the Antarctic sea ice is this winter compared to recent times, but the temperature dropped to minus 83.2 Celsius, which is actually the planet's coldest temperature since 2017. Isn't that very interesting to see as well? Just thought I would share that with you. I know it's not a global weather report, but I thought I would share that with you because it is rather interesting indeed. And yeah, it looks as if we are approaching one of the wettest Julys on record for the British Isles here. And, we will see what stats come out from the Met Office actually when it comes to, when it comes to the end of the month here. So, yeah, this was the scene from space of the wildfire burning over roads off the Greek mainland. It's actually off Turkey, isn't it? Really, rather than Greece. But you can see here the space image showing the massive blaze over roads and the wildfire smoke spreading to the south of the island here. So, pretty dramatic stuff, of course, here. So let's have a look and see what is taking place with regards to temperatures as of recording here. So, of course, all that heat still stacked up across the southern far south of Europe. Spain's temperatures have moderated some in the last few days, of course. And, of course, we're starting to see the air mass getting cleaned out across the far north of Italy. And, of course, when you've got this big extreme contrast between south and north, you get these dramatic thunderstorms. It looks as if we've also seen a record for the largest hailstone ever recorded on the European continent here. I can't remember the exact details, but I did see that tweet put out earlier on today as well. But of course, massive thunderstorms erupting on that boundary between extreme heat to the south and much fresher Atlantic air further north here. And in recent days, temperatures have struggled to get the double digits above freezing across northern half of the UK. We did see some sun increase during the latter half of yesterday, so the temperatures did rise, but we're seeing some very suppressed temperatures for the time of the year over the British Isles, particularly the northern half, but also even through the Midlands and southern parts of England. Only 15 Celsius for a late July afternoon is very, very poor indeed. And like I said, since the 10th of July, it looks as if only one day, and that was actually only 2 days ago at Cavendish, where the temperature hit 25.1. We have failed to see that since the 10th of July, when I believe there was a temperature just over 26 Celsius. And let's remember that we did have 32.2 Celsius earlier in the month. So that is the July maximum for the month, but that is long forgotten because we have steadily turned wetter and cooler as this month has progressed. So let's have a quick look at the overview chart of the GFS and see what we've got coming up. So it looks as if we've got another weekend, third, if not fourth weekend in a row. Low pressure, heavy rainfall, heavy showers, thunderstorms, you name it, we've had it when it comes to poor, disappointing midsummer weather conditions for the British Isles here. So during the course of later tomorrow into Thursday, we've got another frontal system spreading rain and shower activity east to west or west east across the British Isles. And then we've got a fairly deep area of low pressure. Look at that there actually. Now, I know it's offshore, but that's showing a 969 millibar area of low pressure. Incredible stuff for this time of the year to the west of the British Isles, but it will weaken as it presses towards the British Isles here, and it looks as if it slows down quite dramatically also by the time it reaches our shores, but still pressure, sub 990 millibars it looks like as it edges towards the Irish coastline, and that is going to continue to enhance the unsettled conditions, the fresh conditions across our shores as we say goodbye to July. And good riddance, I'm sure, for many of you would be what you would want to say to this month, because it has been a very, very poor month indeed when it comes to weather conditions here. And it looks as if we step into the month of August on a fairly unsettled note. Looking at the 850 temperatures before I close off, and you can see here what I'm showing you. So I'll look at the stats with regards to rainfall, temperature, and whatnot in the coming days. It'll be interesting to see exactly how this month has panned out. But it's like I said yesterday, it's polar opposite to what was seen back during the month of June. But as you can see here, these areas of low pressure are making an approach in the UK. We do have a little bit of milder air getting wafted north ahead of these features, but then it just simply reinforces the fresher conditions across the UK and Ireland, keeping the heat well to the south and the east of the British Isles as we step out of July and into the month of August. We may see something a little bit warmer, as you can see here, in the coming days. Remember what I said to you a little bit earlier in the video, get that flick in the jet stream a little bit to the north. That may allow a little bit of warmer, more humid air to get lifted into the southern half of the UK and Ireland here, but it's always getting deflected to the south on the whole. So that's it for today. I do appreciate you watching as always. Do please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.